You've been told the story before, that it all began on September 1st, 1939, when Hitler's tanks rolled into Poland and the world caught fire. But what if I told you that war didn't start that day? That the real reason World War II began had nothing to do with tanks or borders. It started with shame, with a broken people, and a world that turned its back. This isn't a version in your school books. This is the truth the victors never like to admit. Welcome to the War Atlas. The year was 1919. The war to end all wars had finally stopped, and the victors gathered in Versailles to carve peace into paper. But what they created wasn't peace. It was punishment. Germany was forced to its knees, stripped of land, crushed by debt, told they alone were to blame for a war that swallowed millions. The Treaty of Versailles didn't end the pain. It poured salt into it. For every coin Germany paid, a seed of bitterness grew. For every word of blame, a generation learned to hate. And in that silence, a voice began to rise. Adolf Hitler didn't invent the hatred. He inherited it. He studied it. He fed it. He wasn't just a dictator. He was a mirror, reflecting back every scar Versailles had carved into his people. He promised them power. He promised to restore their pride. And when the world ignored the signs, he started to take. First Austria, then Czechoslovakia. And the world said nothing. They called it diplomacy, but it was fear dressed in silence. While Germany roared, Japan was slicing through China. Italy was dreaming of empire, and the United States drowning in depression and isolation. Britain and France were frozen, exhausted, still bleeding from the last war. They saw the danger, but they chose to close their eyes. Every warning was ignored, every line crossed without consequence, until Poland, until the silence snapped. But by then it was too late. The match had been struck, and the world was already soaked in fuel. World War II didn't start with Hitler. It started with humiliation, with broken promises, with peace that punished instead of healed. It started when the victors chose revenge, when they left millions to suffer while calling it justice. The invasion of Poland wasn't the beginning. It was the breaking point, the last breath before the scream. The truth is painful, but history demands honesty, because wars don't start in a day. They grow in the dark, watered by fear, fed by pride, and when the world refuses to learn, it becomes the author of its own destruction. If this changed the way you saw the war, subscribe to the War Atlas, because the past is never just a past. It is a warning, a mirror, and sometimes the prophecy. More untold truths are coming. Are you ready to hear them?